Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Now Radio. This is your host, Royce the Redneck Radio Man, and joining me today is going to be James Welsh. Before we get the show started off, I want to apologize for not having the intro ready. I was working on with James, and we were having trouble with his connection, and then we were making last-minute, questions and that we needed to take care of, and I forgot to slide my intro into the Queen, and then when I went to play back, it was some other file, so we'll just do without that today. For those of y'all that want to learn more about James and his book, y'all can go to www.corroboratingevidence.co.uk, and there is a hyphen between corroborating and evidence. Also, everybody, don't forget that this Talk Now Radio is listener-supported radio, and we won't be able to continue on the air without the help of the listeners, or unless we get a sponsor, which we try to avoid because sponsors want to tell you what you can and can't put out on the air. And we'd like to have the freedom of being able to put out whatever we'd like to put out. Now, also, if y'all want to ask questions, the call-in number is 832-632-7904. And so, James, how are you doing today?
Good evening. I'm doing fine, Royce. How's yourself?
All righty. Well, James, I got to tell you, I saw your show with that other person advertised on Facebook is how I come about looking you up. And I believe you and me have talked a couple of times, and you've already shared with me that you've got some evidence showing that NASA has, in fact, been covering up the UFO phenomena. Is that correct?
Well, the evidence I've found, basically I'm saying that they can't use the same excuses that they have done in the past with what I have found, because they can't be explained just as easily as some of the stuff that has came forth in the past. So I'm quite excited about obviously getting the information out, but obviously it's quite big, you know. So it's taken me a long time to get this far. So it's quite interesting to see what happens from here, whether how they answer this, what this object is, you know. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it from here, you know.
Well, James, as I understand it, there are other factions out there who's also coming down with strong evidence about the UFO phenomena. I think it was Mexico claims that they have ancient artifacts that show communication between ancient man and ET. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've seen these, but you know, you've got to remain open-minded about it. You know, you don't know if these artifacts are indeed ancient or if they've been, you know, constructed in the 20th century or whatever. You know, you don't know. I mean, look at the crystal skulls, you know, everybody was baffled by that for a long time. And then it came to light that, you know, they were made in modern day by machines. So, you know, you never know, but I definitely do believe that we were a high civilization in ancient past, because you only have to look at the likes of the Great Pyramid in Egypt and the actual level of intricacy that has been built into that. That we are a lot more clued up than we give ourselves credit for. And you know, the UFO thing, you know, I don't know what the whole UFO thing's about at all, but all I've done is investigate a time period where I had all these specific sightings.
Okay.
And basically I looked into it from a personal point of view, and then from that I realised that I wasn't really going anywhere, so I took a sort of bird's eye view and sort of withdrew from myself and took a larger view of the canvas, basically, and took a worldwide search for other sightings which took place during the same time period. So that took me a long time to basically build that and see exactly the timeline of individual sightings, plus the similarity of these eyewitness descriptions compared to the descriptions given in my own written account from 2001. So basically, you know, I've got a wealth of evidence from other eyewitnesses, as well as video footage from Norway, You know, the list goes on. I mean, I've got multiple sightings of military aircraft pursuing UFOs across the world that month. So there's quite a bit of evidence there to support what I'm saying. But the NASA research was like the capstone to my investigation, because I never honestly expected to take my investigation that far. You know, that was quite a surprise for me, Royce. You know, so.
Well, now what you and me talked about on Facebook quite a bit is one of the images you downloaded from NASA that has a picture or the shadow of the Hubble telescope on the hull of the unidentified flying object. Now, is this the one that you feel is like a smoking gun evidence?
Pretty much so, because the entire series of frames which were taken, these were taken on the STS-103 mission, which was to service and repair the Hubble Space Telescope. And it was launched on the 19th, and it came back, I think it was on the 25th. Now, they took a series of, I think it was 11 photographs during the redeployment of the Hubble Space Telescope, and it was these particular photos that got my attention back in 2010. Now, a YouTube user by the name of Undercover Alien had posted a video onto the channel saying that he had found a structured UFO on these NASA frames. And I seen the video, but I was never able to verify the frames were legit, etc, etc. So it was 2 years later that I actually got the website, and I had the serial numbers to the images. I also had a couple of the other images and had the serial numbers for them, and they ended in 58 and 59. Now, I knew this other sequence of photographs had 73, so basically I started to go through the different URLs and change the number for each individual frame number, and then eventually I was able to build the entire sequence of these frames, which were taken, as I said, when the satellite was redeployed. And lo and behold, a structured UFO can be seen on 2 or 3 of these images. So that was interesting. I mean, it was, you know, to see an actual nuts and bolts UFO on a NASA image is incredible. But there was all the debate about whether or not they were the reflection of the interior of the space shuttle. So it took me quite a while to analyse these photographs and to go through them. But from the sequence of these photographs, it's missing, and the object seems to disappear in 2 of these photographs, but right in the middle of the succession of photographs. So it was in the before and after photographs. So I knew it was there, and it was that led me to take a closer look at the specific frame, STS-103-734-69. You can see that it's on a public NASA server. You can look at that just now. Now, if you open up the high resolution image, you can see a very small slither of detail just in the background, and it was this small slither of detail that made me enhance the image, and eventually, after a lot of changes with the brightness, the contrast and everything, I was actually able to extract this image, this object within the image, and it revealed the shadow of the Hubble telescope on the hull of this UFO. So I knew it was there. So that was, you know, my first bit of confirmation that this object was there. And then I basically had them further analysed. So yeah, after you know, it was one thing, you know, seeing this thing and thinking, oh my God, I found something here. But I decided to send it off and get it professional analysis done on it. And
right.
It was, so I put a video together, put it on YouTube, and then I posted it out to about 200 members of the UFO community. And the same day, UFO researcher Paola Harris, she forwarded my email onto an ex-NASA contractor by the name of Gary Nicola, Now, Yari telephoned me that night, and we spent 2 hours on the phone talking about my discoveries and everything. And he eventually passed these images on to UFO expert and high-speed photography expert Wilbur Allen of UFODC.com. And Wilbur Allen was able to do a proper analysis on these photographs, and he was my first source of confirmation that I had indeed found an object present in these photographs. So that was my first, official confirmation that I had found something. But I then took matters further and had a second analysis done by a creative digital artist by the name of Kai Stoffers, and he works in pixelation and everything, and he was able to tell me that based on the pixelation patterns within these images and everything, it's evident that there was something in the photograph. So I've had two independent sources telling me that I'm spot on. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'm ready to push forward now. So this is only a couple of weeks away to launch, so.
So in other words, this isn't just something you're seeing in a photograph. There are professionals that enhance these things or investigate them that, there's been more than one source that have said, yes, I see it too.
Yep. Because with something like that, obviously, it's one thing to just go, that is, but to actually have it verified, not just once, but twice, then that's quite reassuring, that gives you a bit more confidence to come forward with something like this. I mean, for a long time, I pondered over what the dark area on this image was, and then it struck me that it could only be the shadow of the Hubble, which was the only obstruction in space that would block the light getting to that particular surface. So that made common sense, and it was just, and now it's so evident looking at it.
Well, I hear tell that NASA, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, I didn't know you were fixing to speak, I apologize. But I hear tell that NASA airbrushes a lot of these photos before they put them up there.
for authors, filmmakers, entertainment, and all your listening needs. Listen now to Talk Now Radio, where no topic is taboo.
Wait, the needles are moving again. Let me tell this guy and see if we can get them back.
Send my apologies to Genocide for my accent.
Okay, I just asked him if he can hear voices now, so he can let us know. Yeah, he said it's back now. It had to do with evidently when I said that I missed the intro. Evidently, it had loaded an intro anyway, and I stopped it from playing, and that seemed to lock up my system because all I did was finish playing it all the way through, and voila, the sound is back. So that must have, like I said, locked up the voice. Maybe it overrides the voice, until you get through with it, in other words, and that might be why. But we're back, so let's go ahead and finish what we got. Now, I think now would be a really great time for you to tell everybody about your book and, what's in the book that they can expect.
Oh, right, okay, right. Well, it's basically a personal investigation spanning 14 years. From 2001 to 2014, and it includes my personal account of all my experiences which happened that month, because I had repeated sightings throughout the whole month, and my subsequent investigation that looked into this, and the results of that investigation, and also my research into the NASA STS-103 mission, which was launched that month to repair the Hubble, and obviously the results of the analysis that was done on these images. So yeah, it's quite a package, and I hope it gives NASA a wee bit of food for thought. So there you go.
Okay. So you're selling your book on Amazon?
Well, I'm hoping to have it launched on July 8th to coincide with the anniversary of the date that the Roswell story first broke. So I thought it'd be quite fitting to get it out on, an important date like that. So yeah, I mean, everything has really snowballed since done my radio appearance with Deborah Martin. She was absolutely brilliant, and she's been awesome. She's given me a lot of encouragement, and basically I've just got my head back into the project at the moment, and I've just basically had my introduction sent to me by Scottish UFO author and researcher Ron Halliday. Now, Ron Halliday was the investigator who came out to see me personally in 2002 to meet myself and all the other eyewitnesses to my case. So basically, it was very important that Ron done the introduction, because he can validate that the account which is written in my book is also the same one that she received back in 2001 prior to me undertaking my investigation. So I've just got that back, and I'm just waiting on a formal review from Scottish author Malcolm Robinson. He's also a big UFO researcher, and he's going to write me a formal review, which I'm going to include as well. And at the moment, I'm just waiting on the finalised artwork. So yeah, it's just basically just about ready to go. And as I say, I'm hoping to have it out on July 8th. There'll be updates obviously on my website and in the days and weeks ahead, the countdown to it. And I'm looking forward to getting it out after, not knowing nothing else for the last 14 years. I mean, as I say, I've been up to my neck in it, doing this research and trying to make as solid an argument as possible, backed up with, more evidence than I require. But yeah, it's an important point to make, and I just wanted to make sure that I've got my facts in hand before I go public with this.
Right.
So I think definitely what I have found is definitely smoking gun evidence, because NASA can't really say that this, what I've found is an ice crystal or a bit of space debris. When you've got the shadow of the Hubble on it, and then in a photograph 10 seconds later you can see a structured UFO. You've seen the photographs, have you seen the UFO yourself, Roy? It's an absolutely incredible photo. It's, it's not as if it was taken by somebody and then put on Photoshop and sent to me. This is an official NASA photograph. So I'm also very excited, and I also want to thank publicly astronaut Claude McCauley, who he designed the mission patch for STS-103, and he also took the photographs in question, which I have examined, and I think it was yesterday, he gave me the go-ahead to use the artwork for the patch on the front cover for the book. So thank you very much for that, and I'm looking forward to getting it out, so it's all happening.
Okay, now, we got a question in the chat room, and let me scroll back to that real quick like. Let's see. He wants to know if you would speculate why there hasn't been any disclosure on the ET phenomena and why they're so secretive about it.
I don't know, I think it was Dr. Greer put it perfectly when he says, it's a $60 trillion secret, it's oil will go at the door, car manufacturing will go at the door with higher technology. There's obviously so much black technology that's under wraps. Do you think the government really wants everybody flying about in anti-gravity vehicles back and forward? They don't want us. The technology we have is getting trickle-fed. Yourself, as soon as you buy a big screen telly, state-of-the-art, as soon as you buy it, you can get one the next day, half the price, twice as good. So it's interesting, but I really don't know why there is a lid on it. Obviously, disruption and all that, and people, not thinking, not going to work or whatever. I don't know, but I felt very cheated when I received my UFO reply to my UFO report from the Ministry of Defence, because they stated that they gave me the title for the book, and they stated that there was no corroborating evidence to suggest that the UK's airspace had been breached by hostile or unauthorised foreign military aircraft. So, based on the fact that I had personally observed RAF Tornado aircraft on 2 different mornings chasing these things, I was well aware that the Ministry of Defence knew that these things were in the airspace for them in order for them to launch, military vehicles over controlled airspace. So when I got my reply, obviously my nose was out of joint. I wasn't happy, and it wasn't until I got further encouragement from the late Graham Birdsall, who used to run UFO magazine in the UK. It was Graham that first prompted me to write my account and encouraged me to, do something about it. And then when Ron Halliday got it, he told me to keep looking into it. So I've had a lot of encouragement through the years, gone through different people that have helped me out with this project. I'm feeling quite accomplished about how far I've been actually able to take this matter. As I say, because when I set out to do this investigation, all I wanted to do was just point out the similarity between different eyewitness accounts along with my own descriptions. But obviously when I found this NASA stuff, that took the whole ballgame to another level. So that was, I didn't expect to find out. It's like the Holy Grail.
Okay. Now, I know that I've heard a lot of talk going around the web about there being splinter groups out there that are pushing for disclosure in other countries. Have you heard anything about that?
No. I've just been had my head into my own stuff. I've no, you hear this stuff all the time on the internet, but basically, you never get anything watertight. So remain sceptical. I mean, I think we could be talking about this 40 years from now, and it'd still be under wraps. I think they'll keep this under wraps as long as they can.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Now, do you have any more pictures available that you've been looking into besides the one that you've been talking about tonight?
Well, I have the whole sequence available on my website on the STS-103 analysis, and you can go through each individual frame, and there's links to the NASA website as well.
Okay. Well, are you planning on going to the Roswell Festival since you've been waiting for that date to pop up?
I would love to, but unfortunately not this year.
Really?
Yeah, no, no passport or anything at the moment, Royce, so...
Yeah, that would require a passport, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so, these days anyway.
That's too bad. That would be just perfect if you could make this year's Roswell.
It would be nice, yeah, but I'm hoping to go over to the States next year, so we'll wait and see what next year brings.
Okay. So, are you going to be actually pushing for disclosure yourself with this?
Not really. Basically, I do state in the book that basically the results of my own investigation and the results are my own small way of helping the disclosure process along. I mean, I'm only one guy, and I've done all this off my own back. And obviously, the results I managed to achieve are, quite good. So hopefully, I just want to put the question to NASA, what is this? But I want obviously the information to get out. The public can try to get round before the images are taken offline. Because obviously, NASA could just brush this whole thing aside, pardon the pun. But, I mean, the images are available just now to look at and download, just now, so. I think did I give you the links for them?
Well, can you tell us where all your book is going to be available at? I believe it's available in the USA and the UK, but where else?
Well, I'm going to be putting it up on Amazon Kindle Direct initially, but I've no idea where it's going to be going from there. But I'll also be doing hardback editions from my website. I'll just be doing a print on demand at the moment until obviously see how things go with the project.
Well,
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't know you were fixing to speak.
I was just going to say, well, as I say, I'm hoping come July 8th it should be available on Amazon. So that's my goal at the moment.
Okay. Well, have you given any thought to taking your book and turning it into like a documentary?
I have toyed with the idea of doing a documentary on it, but there is quite a bit involved. Obviously with all the different sightings, and then obviously there's the investigation side of things. But at the moment, I've just been concentrating on just trying to get the manuscript finalised, and obviously trying to do a bit. I'm doing my own PR work for it just now for it. So I've just been, as I say, up to my neck and just trying to make final preparations to try and get it done for July 8th. So it's just been full on for the last few weeks.
Oh, okay. So, you got any plans for any more books?
I'd love to write a fiction book that I started years ago, but at the moment, obviously, this project's a bit more important. So we'll see where this goes. But yeah, it'd be nice to have more time to free up and carry on writing. Because I suggested the other day about writing my story about my actual sightings and my investigation and try and turn it into some sort of novel. So that would be quite interesting, you know. But we'll wait and see.
Well, I gotta be honest with you, James. I have interviewed, I would venture to say, countless authors of novels over the last 7 years. And almost every one of them has told me that their novel is based around fact. Would yours be the same way?
Yeah, it'd just be basically, it would be fact, but it would be written in a novel kind of format, yeah.
Taking a little bit of fact and adding a little bit of fantasy to it to come up with a novel?
No, it would be factual, but it would be written in the sense of a story. Do you understand me?
Okay.
It would be a story about a guy that has all these experiences and then is compelled to do something about it, and over course of several years, over a decade, finds out information that leads to making a massive, you know, discovery.
Okay. I told you earlier that it was kind of short notice for me to read your book yet.
Sure.
Since I only got it yesterday. However, I do have it open in my desktop in front of me right now, and I'm seeing that one of the chapters, in fact, I think it's the last chapter, is called UFO Cover-Up Exposed, Finding Kamino. What can you tell us about that?
Well, basically, a UFO cover-up exposed. Right? It's a play on words. It literally is a UFO, which was covered up in the photograph. You can't see it in the darkness. It's literally hiding. So I was actually able to extract it from the photo and bring it into the light. So that's why I called it a UFO cover-up exposed, because I was exposing a UFO which was covered up. So it was just a play on words. But Kamino, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and in, I think it was episode 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi goes looking for a planet, and it's not on the charts, but, you know, blah blah blah, so it's not there officially, but it goes and he finds it. So that's why I called it Kamino, because it wasn't there, but it was there. You know, it was going to either that, and it was going to be Cheshire Cat UFO. So no, I thought Kamino was better, you know, because it was there but not there. So there you go.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I mean that was just why, you know, I just thought Kamino. I just thought it was quite fitting regarding the fact that, you know, when you look on the photo you can't see it, but it's only after you look closer that you actually, you know, become enlightened.
Okay. So, what are you still going to continue to, you know, check out these pictures and enhance these pictures off the NASA website, or have you pretty much already got all the pictures you're interested in?
As far as I'm concerned, the research that I've done on this now and the confirmation that I've had from these individuals is enough for me to close my investigation on this, because I don't have to do anything more to make my point. I think these photographs and the analysis that have been done on them go well beyond proving that the object is in this photograph. And as I say, my book I'd never had the intention of taking matters this far. All I was hoping to do was show similarity between eyewitness accounts with my own. Just to say, look, there's what Tom, Dick and Harry said, there's what I said, everything matches, you know. So to find this, and the analysis I've done, it's enough for me to say, look, there you go, there's a spacecraft, there's a shadow of the Hubble Space Telescope on the object, there you go, make it public, you know, make of it what you will. So that's basically me. I'm just making a statement to NASA saying, look what I found and what is it. You know, please explain this to me, you know. Because it's quite smoking gun evidence. When you see it based on the actual sequence of the photographs. I mean, the one that was taken 10 seconds later with the structured object, for your listeners, that's, if you just Google search STS 103-734-73, and basically you'll have a look at that, and the photograph speaks for itself, you know, so very interesting.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I mean, obviously, prior missions up into space to fix a Hubble, there's always been footage of anomalous objects kicking about in the background, stuff like that. So this one just goes to show that the trend continues. Basically we are being paid attention to while we're up there messing about, so.
Well, I notice you've got about 5 appendixes in your, or 5 categories in your appendix or titles or whatever. So there's, quite a bit of bibliography in there for people that need to corroborate. Am I correct?
Yeah, basically, that obviously I've got my references and then I've got my bibliography at the back. And as well as that, I also done individual sighting time for each day of that month, from the 1st of December to the 25th of December. You can go through each day and look at the sighting reports for each day which were made around the month, around the world during that day. So you can see everything. So yeah, everything's as referenced as I can get it. Obviously, because I want readers and listeners to go looking at this information and see that it is there, and indeed it does back up exactly what I'm saying.
Well, was you kind of motivated to investigate all this and find this smoking gun behind your own personal UFO experience?
Yes, I have been highly driven. I mean, I had what was classed as a CE2 encounter. I was lit up by a UFO which was only 527 feet away from me. Both me and a friend were basically lit up very, very briefly by an all-encompassing light, which was very, very, very strange light. And, so to have such a close encounter and then to experience something like that, obviously, I've been wanting to get to the bottom of it for, since it happened. And I've been looking into it since day one, basically. And, here I am all these years later with this information. So it's taken me a long time to get here, but what I have is quite substantial. So I just pity you've not had a chance to get through it yet.
Okay. So has doing all this investigation work, has it helped you cope with your own UFO sighting or your own experience?
I'd say, yeah, it's good exercise.
Good therapy?
Good therapy, that's the one, yeah, good therapy, yep. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's caused a lot of headaches, obviously, when I constructed the timeline for all the sightings for each day of that month. That caused a lot of headaches, going through all the different time zones and making sure everything was accurate. But despite all the thousands of headaches, and all the years I've been going through this, it's been so worth it to actually get to this stage and say I now have this to present to you, and the evidence I have is, it's better than the stuff that came out in 2001, the smoking gun tapes.
Okay. So, exactly to what extent did you have an experience? I mean, were you actually abducted, or did you just see a UFO, or did they actually land where you can get out of the ship, or?
No. Basically, I had repeated sightings right throughout that month. My first sighting took place on December the 4th at 4:45 a.m. Okay, I had 2 sightings that morning, one at 4:45 and the second one at 5 o'clock. Both of them, the first sighting, maybe the object was half a mile away, and it performed a series of incredible manoeuvres, making a triangle formation, and then it shot off, and then 15 minutes later when I got home again, there was one at the bottom of my street which was 700 odd feet away, and that literally vanished right in front of me. I mean, I've seen it get brighter and brighter, and then it just literally disappeared right in front of my eyes. Didn't go anywhere, just into thin air, gone. So that was the first night. So I had sightings a week later, on the 10th of December at 16:45, which was exactly a week 12 hours short of a week. Sorry, I'm getting confused here. Second sighting was on the 10th of December, about 4:45, and then 5 o'clock again. So it was exactly a week from my first encounters, minus 12 hours. So that was strange. But then 12 hours later, on the 11th of December, again at 4:45 a.m. So that was exactly a week, down to the hour, down to the minute. And that's when I had the CE2 encounter with my friend Christine. And we seen two of these objects rendezvous 500 odd feet away from us. And then a third one appeared higher up and it lit us up and then blinded us. And by the time our eyes refocused, they were all gone. So yeah, I mean, it's not as if it was like a distant sighting. You know, I've had 3 up close UFO sightings, all in the space of 3 weeks. Involving 2 of these sightings involved RAF tornado aircraft chasing them. Another incident involved the police helicopter, which was active on December the 14th. So there was a lot to the sightings. Obviously, there was different people involved on different dates, and different events, different durations of sightings and everything. So yeah, I mean, there was enough for me, obviously, to spend 14 years looking into it, because I know what I saw. You know.
Okay. At the time you saw it, did you experience any missing time?
Well, on December the 11th, when that was the sighting I had, which was exactly a week from my initial sighting, my friend and I went down to Queen's Park Recreation Grounds. Basically, it's a big bit of open ground. And we stood there and we watched UFO activity till 6:45 in the morning. So that was from 4:45 to 7:45. That was 2 hours that we had made observations. But the time went in twice as quick. It only felt like an hour. So we had lost about an hour's time. But we weren't sure if that we just got carried away with watching these, that we stood there for as long as we did. But it was odd that we seemed to have lost about an hour. So that was interesting, but I don't read into that too much. But I do find the time relevance of all my sightings very interesting, because at that I wondered why they were happening at the same time frame, at the same locations, and I figured that was an aspect I wanted to look into, because of latitude and longitude and stuff like that. So that's what made me think of the time relevance to all these sightings. But who knows,
Right. Okay, well, I was asking you that primarily because the thought had occurred to me that you could have actually been abducted, and without realizing you'd missed any time, you may have never known it or never thought about it. And I was sitting there thinking it'd be kind of weird, and you'd probably feel kind of weird if it dawned on you, hey, there was missing time. Could I have been abducted during this time?
Well, at the time, see, when my friend and I stood in the lane to watch these 2 objects rendezvous, when we were lit up, I remember scrunching my toes the moment it happened, and it was like pinching myself basically, but I remember rubbing my toes into my shoes just to feel the ground under my feet, you know what I mean? But it wasn't until 2008 that I started to look into the missing time thing a bit more, after I met with Scottish abductee Gary Woods from the A70 abduction, which happened in 1992, because I was given a talk in Edinburgh that evening, and I was basically doing a historical talk, and one of the things that cropped up for 1992 was the A70 abduction. Now, there was 2 things that happened in this guy's case, Gary Woods, that caught my attention, and was basically they were driving and they drove under a UFO when they said a wall of light came down across the road in front of them, and they said that this wall looked like a detuned television set. So I found that very, very interesting, because that was like the wall, the light which surrounded me and my friend. It was like, I described it like static. It was like light bouncing about in every direction, all at the same time. Very, very strange light. So there was that aspect of this case which interested me. And also the Gary Woods case, when they actually drove through this light, they said they were in complete darkness. And this is also what happened to me when I experienced a dream directly after my first full sightings. And in my dream, I was in complete darkness. I was like a pair of eyes in the dark. And eventually I started seeing a flashing in front of me. And when I woke up to that, what I was looking at, that's when I jumped out of bed. I was really freaked out. So when I came across the Gary Woods account of the A70 abduction, where he mentioned being in complete darkness and this wall of light like a detuned television set, it rang bells in my head with regards to my own sightings and my own experiences. And I met with Gary Woods on September the 3rd, 2008, which was quite interesting because that was the same day that I found out about his case. And he came to see me that evening, which was nice. So it was a bit strange meeting him on the very, very same day I first became aware of his account. So that was odd, but that was nice, you know. But as far as missing time and all that goes, you know, I don't go floating into that too far. But I do find it odd why I had so many sightings in my area all around about the same time frame. So that's what made me look into it more. I know.
Well, are you still having UFO sightings?
No, it was all condensed into 3 weeks during December of 1999. I had sightings on the 4th, the 10th, the 11th, 14th, the 15th, and the 25th of that month. So obviously there was enough to arouse my interest and look into this further, you know.
Well, maybe at the time you were living in a UFO hotspot.
Well, I think it was 2001, 2002. Scotland was ranked as the number 1 hotspot in the world for UFOs, and that was based on per head of population and per landmass. So yeah, I mean, I live in Glasgow, and I'm, you know, Bonnybridge is not far away from me, with the Falkirk Triangle between Bonnybridge and Glasgow.
Your wire's starting to, we're starting to get that hum back. Ouch. Bear with us, folks. He's trying to get it.
Who's that?
Well, we've only got 11 minutes left.
Any bit? Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Well, the humming's gone, but I think he got unplugged again.
Right, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm just waiting for the, I can kind of slightly hear it in the background.
Right,
And it just got a little louder.
How's that better?
Well, we can probably finish off like that. We've only got 9 minutes left anyway.
Sorry, I didn't realise what happened there with the wires.
That's okay. Let's go ahead and try to do a wrap on this since we're having some technical issues. I was going to say real quick, like, is there anything you wanted to cover that I haven't thought to ask?
No, my mind is absolutely blank just now, guys. I can't think. I mean, At the moment, I've tried to put as much info as I can onto the website and also on my Facebook Corroborating Evidence page. Between the two, you should have updates on what's happening, more about what the book's about, some of the content, and obviously on the website, obviously you can see my research into the particular frames, as well as the other actual part of the investigation, which was concerned with the sightings during that month. So my mind is blank just now, but if you get anything you want to run by me, you can think of.
Okay. Now, folks, if y'all want to get to know him on Facebook, you can go to the Facebook homepage and up at the search engine at the top, type in James Welsh, and it'll take you to either his Facebook page or his profile, one of the two. And he'll be more than happy to get to know you and to discuss UFOs with you. I guess with that one right there, I want to remind everybody real quick that tomorrow I will be airing live over at freedomslips.com. Well, it's Revolution Radio, which is at www.freedomslips.com. I'm going to be talking to Trent Goodbody about freedom from government. And he's really spent a lot of time researching laws and what exactly the law can do to you and with you and etc. And he's got a lot of information to share with us. And I think you'll be glad you come if you do come over there. That's Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And then don't forget to come back over here Saturday. I'll be talking to David Cohen about ley lines and earth energies. Look forward to catching you folks. Don't forget to visit me at Facebook. And I'm going to call that one there a wrap. Y'all have a good weekend. I want to thank y'all for visiting. Couldn't have a show without you any more than I could have one without the guests. You listened, you participated, and I do appreciate it. Y'all have a good night and hope to see you tomorrow.